Hello guys, DJ Bagpuss here and welcome back to Analysing Arsenal. Yes, it's been a while ladies and gentlemen, and yes, I could have done Examining England videos, and yes, I just simply could not be asked to do Examining England videos because I really don't give a shit about the Nations League in England at the moment. But I do care about Arsenal, and Analysing Arsenal returns on Monday as we play Leicester City in the Premier League. But I thought this would be a great opportunity and moment to kind of reflect on Arsenal's season so far. Something I haven't done yet, and it's been quite weird. I didn't do any kind of, season previews. I didn't do an Arsenal season preview. As much as I wanted to, I thought I would just kind of see how this new era of Arsenal was going to kind of unfold, and then kind of when I got an opportunity to kind of give my findings and feelings and analyse and review Arsenal's season at a particular point of the season, I was going to do that set thing. And we're now coming towards the end of an international break, the weekend leading up to the Premier League's return. So this is a good opportunity. So today we are going to be analysing and reviewing Unai Emery's Arsenal season so far. Now to do this, I'm going to be looking at 4 different categories, and I'm going to be reviewing each set of category that I have chosen. And there's actually 5 things that we're going to be talking about in this video, but there's 4 categories and one final thing that I'm going to be doing. So we're going to be looking at Unai Emery's transfers, so players that he's brought in and players that he's let go, his tactics, his overall managerial style, and finally the results on the pitch. And also I'm going to be giving you my predictions to where I think Arsenal are going to finish in the Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup and Europa League retrospectively. But we're going to start with transfers. So let's jump straight in, ladies and gentlemen, and talk about Unai Emery's transfers, and also talk about how Unai Emery's journey began, because Unai Emery has come into a incredible football club. I mean, Arsenal are a unique club. We've had the same manager for 22 years, and Arsene Wenger left Arsenal Football Club in a great way. We sent Arsene Wenger off in a blaze of glory, but he left a team who was almost in disarray. You look at the 2017-18 Premier League season, we finished 6th, our lowest finish, I think, in 20 or so years. We were booted out of the Europa League semi-final against Atletico Madrid side that, even though they ultimately went on to win the competition, we should have easily and comfortably beat Atletico Madrid. We were absolutely fucking humiliated in the Carabao Cup final against a very good Manchester City side. And then to top it off, we got absolutely ripped apart by Nottingham Forest as the FA Cup holders of being knocked out in the first time of asking. So it was not great. It was not a great season whatsoever. And Unai Emery has come in and effectively picked up the pieces, because, that Arsenal squad is a squad which has the potential to be a potentially world-class side, and at the moment they are distinctly average, and sometimes they perform, and the way that they perform, they are below average. Sometimes they perform and they are absolutely woeful in the way that they sometimes put performances together. And Unai Emery's come in and kind of set his own tactics and style, and effectively transfers were key in terms of what he needed to do. And it's very, very simple. There were a number of positions in that Arsenal side that just simply had to be strengthened. Goalkeeper, centre-back, central defensive midfielder, another potentially central midfielder, and also I would have gone for a winger, because I don't think Arsenal have a world-class winger. Yes, we've got Danny Welbeck. Yes, we've got Alex Iwobi, but we've not got that, star quality. You think of like a Hazard of Chelsea, or a Salah of Liverpool, or a Sané of Manchester City. We don't have one of those. Martial of Manchester United. Even though Martial is kind of, Manchester United just, but, what I'm saying is that most of the big sides have got a world-class winger. We used to have one in Alexis Sanchez. Where Alexis Sanchez has gone right now is beyond me, ladies and gentlemen. But, Unai Emery, credit to him, came in and, strengthened key areas of the team. Unfortunately for Unai Emery, it's hard in the modern market, particularly in the positions that Unai Emery strengthened, because there's not many world-class players out there. And if there are, they're going to either like your Barcelonas, your Bayerns, your Real Madrids. They're going for astronomical fees, or even PSG. And, the Premier League is struggling to acquire, world-class top talent for some reason. And, Arsenal not even in the Champions League. So, the chance of us bringing in someone world-class is just very, very unlikely. We brought in Leno as a goalkeeper, and I still want to see more of him. I still want him to be the first choice Arsenal goalkeeper, and I've said it in numerous Analysing Arsenal match reviews. However, what I will say is that Petr Cech, although has made a lot of mistakes, he's also had a couple of really, really good games. You think of the game against Everton and also against Fulham. He was absolute, even though he came off injured, you know, against Fulham, and also in some of our kind of cup competitions when he's been. I mean, particularly the game that really stands out for me is when Arsenal beat Everton by 2-0 up at the Emirates, and he was spellbound. Like, without Petr Cech, we would have lost that game. And it's moments like that that remind me of just how of a great world-class goalkeeper that he is. He's losing it. He's getting to the end of his career, and I think Leno is the next big #1 Arsenal goalkeeper. And I'd like to see more of him being a startman. But you know, Petr Cech, when he has been called on recently, he has been performing. So you know, it's a tough one. Unai Emery brought in the experience of Stefan Lichtsteiner at right back. We've not seen much of him, but when he does come on, he looks encouraging. You know, he is a no-nonsense right back, you know, and I think also he's helping Bellerin to become better because, again, Bellerin is that type of player that's got potential. Bellerin's got that potential to kind of take the next step and really cause, you know, kind of, you know, attackers problems because he's so pacey, he's athletic, but he is much better going forward than he's defending, and for a right back that is problematic, and particularly in the big games it's an astronomical problematic kind of thing. So Lichtsteiner, hopefully he's kind of moulding him into a better right back, and when he has come on he's looked really, really good. I've been absolutely blown away by Lucas Torreira and Gundazy, Matthew Gundazy, who is, you know, a midfielder almost playing in like that Aaron Ramsey role, but is incredibly, incredibly young. Lucas Torreira is that no-nonsense defensive midfielder. He's got a lot of work to do, but, and I don't mean this lightly, I'm not comparing him in any way, but Arsenal for the last kind of decade or so have been crying out for like a Patrick Vieira kind of central defensive midfielder, that their job is essentially like a Kante. You sit in front of the back four and your job is to protect that back four. You don't move forward, you don't go back, you protect. You're like the anchor. You're like the anchor from the ship. And I think Torreira can be that. He seems a bit too adventurous to be like that. I mean, Vieira was adventurous, you know, don't get me wrong, back in the day, but, you know, Vieira would protect the back four on so many occasions, and Lucas Torreira, even though he can do that, and he can do that job, there are still aspects of that that need to be improved, but that will come with time. But it's a very, very potential, you know, promising signing, and I think the more that we can have Lucas Torreira in that starting lineup, it's taken a while for Unai Emery to kind of showcase him and put him, you know, into that starting 11. But like I said, it's promising. And Gundazy particularly has been just a breath of fresh air. He's been so, so good. I've really, really enjoyed watching him. You know, his passion, his athleticism, his paciness, and just his all-round game. You know, you notice him in games, you know, in kind of against Chelsea, even though we lost that game by 3-2. You know, he was our best player on that day. You know, 110% he was the best player on the pitch that day. And, you know, he has been, you know, fantastic. And finally, Socrates is the centre-back that is partnering Mustafi at the moment. Obviously, Shelny's out for a long-term spell with an Achilles problem. He is starting to recuperate and kind of, hopefully, he's going to get back to a position of being a first-team regular. And I mean, Socrates and Mustafi are quite a slow defensive, you know, partnership. You know, they're not the quickest, but Socrates, as time has progressed, has got better and better and better. He still isn't perfect, as is Mustafi, you know. And what's so frustrating with Mustafi is that he have games which are, you know, he'll be kind of one of the best players you've seen, and then he kind of just, like, falter. So we have one good game and one bad game. So all of the praise that everyone is, you know, showering Mustafi with in game one. In game two, all of that praise is then forgotten because he's played really, really badly. Socrates has had his moments, and I think he's still adapting to the Premier League. But again, it's a good signing. You know, Socrates is one of the better defenders, and I think we've been having our eye. I think even Arsene Wenger might have had his eye on Socrates for a number of years. So, you know, a good signing for Unai Emery. Personally, I would have loved to see Angel Di Maria. He's got, you know, experience with Unai Emery's, you know, at PSG, and he didn't work out for him at Manchester United, but I think at Arsenal he could be a breath of fresh air potentially. Again, we've been potentially looking at Eric Bailly in the January transfer window, you know, Anthony Martial as well, Julian Draxler's name's always branded around. I think we're quite good with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper situation is okay. I think The problem is there's not many good, world-class centre-backs. Alderweireld, Vertonghen are never going to come to Arsenal because they're Spurs players. Godin, I think, will go for a team in the Champions League, so he won't come to Arsenal. So I can't really think of anybody kind of else that, in terms of the defender, a world-class defender, which I still think we potentially need. But I just think maybe a better defensive midfielder. So we've been linked with Decore. He is a really, really good kind of strong. We need a no-nonsense, ruthless, heartless bastard protecting that back four. I don't think Lucas Torreira is there yet. He's got, and I've seen, hints and glimmers of that type of player, but he's nowhere near that yet. So potentially, Unai Emery's got options. I would say personally, I don't think, this name's been branded around a lot, but Di Maria, I certainly, I would bring Di Maria to Arsenal because of the fact that I think he could light up the Emirates. And I think, we've got Lacazette and Aubameyang that are just, on their day, they are absolutely ruthless. I mean, going forward, apart from a winger, I think we're fine going forward. I just think we probably need a better CDM while Torreira gets experience, a better centre-back and a winger, and we're in business. But we're not crying out for those players. We've got enough at the moment, but there's always room to improve, and I would say centre-back, CDM and a winger is probably where we're looking. And, January is an interesting, the last January transfer window, we saw an absolute ridiculous amount of Premier League transfers that just shouldn't have happened in January. Whether we're going to see that again, I do not know, but, it's going to be certainly very interesting. Hopefully, we're going to see some good signings. What Unai Emery's plans for January is, I do not know. So, transfers, I would say if we were rating it out of 10, we're probably looking at about a 7 or an 8. He had to, address key areas of the team, and he's done just that. They're not, world-class signings, but they're decent signings. And, considering the run that we're on at the moment, they're starting to embed into the team. And overall, I'm happy. I just think we're a couple of players away from kind of taking that next step to really cementing a place in the Champions League, and then taking the next steps to going to win the Premier League title. And we're a long way off that yet. We're nowhere near Premier League, title contenders. But we are certainly moving in the right direction, and the transfers have been positive to say the least. So that's transfers done and dusted. Let's move on to tactics, because Unai Emery's tactics have been interesting to say the least. Now, with Arsene Wenger, it was a very kind of route one kind of tactic. It was Arsene Wenger's way or no way. And he'd never ever, one of the really bad points of Arsene Wenger, particularly in the late years, was his stubbornness and his inability to adapt to situations. He did it once when we beat Manchester City up at the Etihad, where he did an Arsene Wenger sort of masterclass. You heard of the Mourinho masterclass. It was a wonderful Wenger tactic, shall we say. But it was the only time in, I've been an Arsenal fan a decade. It was the only time in about a decade that I've seen Arsene Wenger change his, tactics. And I've seen brief moments of that. But, his tactic is, you have a shot, we have a shot, and let's see who conceives the most amount of goals. And 9 times out of 10, it was Arsenal on the wrong end of results. And Unai Emery's kind of tactics is very kind of, forward thinking. You see him on the touchline. We'll get onto his managerial style, but the tactic is playing out from the back, and sort of everything starts from the back and it moves out. Now, when that comes off, it's great. It's great. If you play out from the back, you can go from your goalkeeper to your attacker and be in on goal in about 20 to 25 seconds. If you can know how to play it from the back. You've seen Pep Guardiola and Manchester City and how they do it. That's exactly what Unai Emery can do. When it comes off, it's great. But you are leaving yourself open, and the better team, Manchester City, preyed on that. They saw an opportunity. They saw an Arsenal side trying to play out from the back and having difficulty in playing out from the back, and they pried on that weakness, and they got 2 very good goals. We lost to Chelsea because of that, but also we didn't have our shooting boots that day. So, I've watched that Chelsea-Arsenal game countless times, and we should have easily won that game. It was just one of those days at the office, really. Manchester City, we got absolutely battered, but there has been a lot of times this season where we've conceded goals and caused problems by playing out from the back. Cardiff City, Newcastle, Fulham, even our last Premier League game. We're still learning to play out from the back. And, one of the worries is that, when we play Liverpool after the Emirates Stadium, we make a mistake like that, and Salah, Firmino and Mane are through, we're going to concede. Against the better teams, we could be in trouble. And, you know, some people are saying that there is a feeling in the air that Arsenal are soon going to be on the wrong side of a hiding because we can't defend. And yes, we do struggle defensively, but you can't. We've been asking for change for the best part of, say, 4, 5, 6 years. I've certainly been asking for change for quite a long time. I would be such a hypocrite if I said, okay, I want change, but I don't want Unai Emery to implement his new tactics. We want change, we want something new, and, you know, we're on a fantastic run. You know, we beat Leicester on Monday night, we've won 10 in a row. 10 games in all competitions, we've won 10 on the bounce. Something we haven't done for a long, long time, but we're still learning. You know, Unai Emery's tactics are starting to fall into place, but, you know, like I said, it's still a learning curve. So, you know, it's going to take time. We're going to make mistakes, and I'm okay with Unai Emery playing up to the back. The only thing I would say is that there are moments where the players have got to realise that this is not going well, then change, then adapt, and they're not doing that. Unai Emery can only do so much on the touchline, but if the players are not, you know, understanding and registering that this is not going according to plan, you know, against Manchester City, they didn't change. You know, Unai Emery was, you know, on the touchline, you know, saying change this, change that, and they just weren't doing it. So that would be my worry, that Arsenal, you know, lack the ability to adapt during the game. You know, world-class teams do that. They do that without even looking over to their manager. And I just think this Arsenal side is still kind of almost they almost like need a babysitter, really. They need, like, you know, a little bit of love and care, you know, sometimes in matches. But, you know, that will come with experience, and that will come with time, essentially. Time is, you know, the greatest thing at the moment. So, you know, tactically, Unai Emery likes playing it for the back. It's very direct. It's very kind of route one. And, you know, Arsenal, I think we're not so much about the passing game nowadays. You know, yes, we do, you know, put together lovely pieces of passages of play, and when they come off, they look electric. I mean, against Fulham, some of the pieces of passing play, Ramsey's goal in particular, like, oh my Jesus Christ. But what I will say is that we've kind of moved away from Arsene Wenger's beautiful football into much more of route one kind of football, and that is kind of what I've noticed, particularly watching Arsenal under Unai Emery. And that kind of leads me very nicely on to managerial style, because I think Unai Emery's managerial style is passionate. And again, I've been crying out for it. You know, you've got a man on the touchline, and Unai Emery stands mostly from minute 1 to minute 90. Very much like what Antonio Conte did. Very much of what you see from Sarri or Pep Guardiola. Unai Emery is off that, you know, kind of nature. You know, he's very vocal, he's very passionate, and from minute 1 to minute 90, that guy does not stop. You compare it to Arsene Wenger, who would sit on his chair for the best part of 90 minutes, fiddle with a piece of string, and, you know, where's the energy? You know, where's the motivation? Where's the determination? Where, you know, you see a man on the touchline, as a player, if I was playing, it would give me, you know, and lift me. It would give me inspiration, motivation to kind of kick on and let's get the win, boys. Let's do this. Let's kind of kick in together. Let's show what we can, you know, do, and let's, you know, do what we've got, essentially. And, you know, when you've got a man just sitting there, not, you know, giving a lot of passion. I mean, Arsene Wenger in moments was passionate, but it wasn't enough. Unai Emery is passionate from minute 1 to minute 90. From minute 1 to minute 90. And it just doesn't stop. And I think it gives the players inspiration, and I think that's what you need from your manager, particularly in the modern era of football where passion and motivation is kind of the driving force, really. So, you know, it's something which I've really, really been impressed by Unai Emery. I'm really, really impressed with seeing a man kind of be, you know, top dog and kind of, you know, being on the touchline and giving everything. You know, he's learning English. He is, you know, really drilling in, I mean, like, you know, training sessions now, he's using video footage and he carefully studies, analyses and interprets every single moment in every single chain. You know, he tries to, you know, make kind of and cover situations that potentially could happen. He tries to cover all areas. Yes, at times it doesn't come off, but when it does, and when the players have got used to that, we could be a force, you know, and, you know, this isn't going to be a quick fix. This is a long-term kind of thing that needs to be kind of fixed. But Unai Emery's managerial style is positive, it's passionate, and, you know, he's an elegant manager, but also he's not afraid to make the tough decisions, and that is what Arsene Wenger never did. You know, if someone was having a bad run, rather than dropping them, Arsene Wenger would keep playing them. Mesut Ozil, when he couldn't be bothered to run back, would start every single game. And, you know, sometimes it would say, oh, he was sick, or, you know, he's injured. Well, I don't think he actually was. But Arsene Wenger wouldn't make those tough decisions. And as a manager, as a top manager, you need to be capable, and, you know, you need to be able to make the tough decisions. And I think Unai Emery does. I mean, he's dropped players that have not been pulling their weight, and he's, you know, said to players, look, if you're not going to perform for me, if you're not going to give me 150%, if you're not going to give every atom and fibre of your being, and when you're wearing the Arsenal shirt, that's what you need to give, then there's the door. And he's got that, you know, in you. I wouldn't want to piss him off. You know, he's a lovely manager, probably a lovely man, but I wouldn't want to get on his bad side, because he demands and expects the very best. And I've seen that, and it's lifted the players. The players are starting to kind of, you know, want to perform, because they're looking at a manager that won't take any bollocks or bullshit. And Arsene Wenger, you know, took so much bollocks and bullshit, and those players, you know, ran rings round him. You know, they really, really did. They ran absolute rings round him, because Arsene Wenger allowed them to, essentially. You know, Arsene Wenger was a man that allowed, you know, those players to get away with, you know, essentially murder at times, absolute murder. And when you've got a manager who is passionate and determined, whose tactics are starting to pay off, it leads to good results. Now, we had a very, very tough start, an absolutely horrendous start. We had Manchester City and Chelsea in our opening 2 Premier League games. Did anybody really expect Arsenal to win those 2 games? I expected maybe a point at the very most, but, you know, no. Nobody expected Arsenal to win those 2 games. We then went on a fantastic run. West Ham. We beat West Ham. We beat Cardiff, Newcastle, Forster, Everton, Brentford, Watford, Qarabağ, Fulham. 9 wins in a row in all competitions. You look at that run of games and you say, well, Arsenal should be winning those. They're easy wins. But, you know, Everton are a good side. Cardiff showed, and Cardiff could have easily taken a point from us, as could have Newcastle. You know, Watford as well, we got very, very fortunate. Qarabağ was a strange game, but in the end we got a 3-0 win when we didn't really deserve to win by, you know, 3-0. And we absolutely ripped Fulham to shreds after a very, very tough first 45 minutes. So to win 10 games in a row is pretty incredible, I'd say. Pretty incredible. The test is going to be, we've got Liverpool coming up, we've got Tottenham, and we've got Manchester United. I think once we get to Christmas, we're going to be able to really reflect and see where this Arsenal side are. Because, you know, we've got Leicester, Sporting, Palace, Blackpool. 4 very winnable games. We should go into the game against Liverpool on November 3rd, 2018 with a 12-game winning run. Whether we're going to slip up in any of these 4 games, it's really, really important that we keep the consistency going and flowing. And, you know, we're going to then, you know, we've got Liverpool in November, and then after the international break, but after we play Bournemouth and Wolves, we've got the North London derby, and then we've got Manchester United 3 days later. So we play Tottenham in the North London derby. We then go to Old Trafford in 3 days after the North London derby. If we can get 6 points out of that, if we can get a draw against Liverpool, I don't expect us to beat Liverpool by any means, but results at the moment have been nothing short of superb, and I'm enjoying Arsenal. I'm enjoying seeing this new era. I'm enjoying seeing Unai Emery kind of, you know, be able to express himself, and there's no pressure on Arsenal. You know, yes, we're, you know, joint. Well, where are we at the moment? We're 4th, aren't we? Let's have a look. No, yeah, we are 4th. We're 2 points off of Manchester City, Chelsea and Liverpool, who are joint top of the table. We're level on points with Spurs, but we've got a better goal difference. So, you know, we're up there. You know, we're up there. I don't think we're title contenders under any circumstances. I don't want to be title contenders because there's no pressure on Arsenal. You know, we're very much under the radar, and, you know, any kind of discussion about whether Arsenal are the real deal now is just being kind of, you know, people are not jumping the gun, people are not kind of getting carried away. Why should we? And, you know, people have been quite negative about Arsenal, saying that, you know, this is just, you know, a lucky, you know, run that Arsenal on, and the luck is going to run out. I've heard it from many pundits and players, you know, saying that this Arsenal side are not as good as what they're making out. But at the minute, they're doing absolutely all the right things. So it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable to watch Arsenal at the minute. And I think we can finish in the top 4 this season. I really, really do. I don't see why we can't finish where we are right now in the top 4. The main aim this season for me is to get back into the Champions League. Whether we do that from winning the Europa League, which Unai Emery has won 3 consecutive Europa League trophies with Seville. I think we're going to get to the final. I don't think we're going to win the Europa League. I think our best bet is to go through and finish in a top 4 Premier League position. Again, not going to be easy. You know, the likes of Spurs, Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, someone's going to miss out. Who that's going to be, I don't know. I think we're going to see Liverpool win the league, Chelsea, Manchester City, and then Arsenal, hopefully. I do think we're going to win the FA Cup, though. I think Unai Emery is going to get a trophy in his first season, whether that's going to be in the Carabao Cup or FA Cup. But I think in the cup competitions particularly, I can see us doing very, very well. I'm not too bothered this season about a trophy. I'd like Unai Emery to win a trophy in his first season. My main kind of, the big objective and what I really want is I want to see Arsenal back in the Champions League. Because the Europa League is just a poor man's Champions League, and it is, you know, essentially a league where Arsenal are better than the Europa League. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but, you know, the Europa League is awful. It's an absolutely rubbish competition to be in. If we can win it to bag ourselves a place in the Champions League, great. But our best bet, I think, is to finish in the top 4, which I see us doing this season. So it's good. And so far, I would give Unai Emery's Arsenal season probably a 6 out of 10. It's not been perfect, but it has been much better than expected. And, you know, to be in a position where you're about to win your 10th game in a row, it's decent. Just over halfway positive. There are still problems. We're not perfect. We need to work on a multitude of areas, but it's looking good and the signs are good. And Unai Emery is a man that I trust. And the players so far are performing and are giving me, you know, nothing to really be concerned about. You know, obviously defensively we're not, you know, great, but it's looking good from an Arsenal point of view. And like I said, we're back in Premier League action. We don't have an international break now for us quite a while. So it's going to be Arsenal now for quite a bit, and hopefully I'm going to get back into the swing of uploading a bit more regularly. I do upload when I can, so just stay with me on this channel. Your support means the absolute world to me. And I'm going to end this episode of Analysing Arsenal right here. If you really enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, and check out my other great content as well. And again, I really do appreciate your patience, and I've missed speaking to you guys. I really hope you're having a great time. Please let me know your thoughts, feelings, and everything down in the comment section below. And also follow me on Twitter at DJPeppers998. And I will rejoin you on Monday night for the next Analysing Arsenal as Arsenal entertain Leicester City at the Emirates. Until then, take care, and I shall see you all very, very soon. Take care, and see you all later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.